Welcome back. If you recall, we were discussing regarding augmentation of heat transfer, and why we have discussed augmentation, because we wanted to have very efficient heat exchangers, and in technical term what is known as compact heat exchanger, at least some of the compact heat exchanger we wanted to discuss. Now, as I have shown you earlier that there are many techniques for augmentation of heat transfer. I have not shown, again I let me tell you, I have not shown an exhaustive list. It is not possible because there are many techniques, and probably in a course like this where our main focus is heat exchanger, we cannot discuss much detail regarding the augmentation techniques, though they are very interesting and as thermal engineer should know them. Now, one of the augmentation technique is the use of extended surface, or as technically they are known, fins. And using fins, there are many heat exchangers which have very superior performance. So, we are going to spend some time on fins. You have studied about fins in heat transfer in your heat transfer course, which is a very fundamental topic in any undergraduate heat transfer course, and probably some of you have revisited this topic in some postgraduate course. So, we will assuming that you have got some background, or you can pick up that background from a standard book of heat exchanger, we will go only telling the critical points of this topic. So, analysis of extended surface heat transfer, this is what we are focusing on. Fins or extended surfaces are appendages attached to the primary heat transfer surface. So, there will be a primary heat transfer surface. We are not satisfied with its heat transfer performance. We want to improve the heat transfer performance of this primary surface. Then the easiest thing we like to do is to attach fin to it. Okay. Fin is a conductive convective surface. So, initially the primary surface we had, it had heat transfer by convection. Now, we are providing fins on it, still it will have heat transfer by convection, but we are giving now some extra area to the primary surface. The extra area will not be as effective as the main surface of the primary as the primary surface area, but in any case this extra area will enhance the rate of heat transfer. So, this is the whole game. Now, if we see the attribute of extended surface or fin, which is a conductive convective surface, I will explain this term. So, this is a passive device, no auxiliary power is required, suitable for single phase convection, phase change heat transfer, and radiation. Even in some phase change storage system, these fins are used, energy storage system. Then extensive design variation can be used for planar or curved surface, can be used inside some sort of a conduit or outside the conduit. It can be used, as I have told, that it can be used for single phase, it can be used for both liquid and gas and liquid gas mixture. Then we can use it in a very small heat exchanger, we can use it, fin heat exchanger could be very, very large. Okay. So, that is one thing, that is another feature, and may increase by the fin design. Definitely we are increasing the surface area, but by our innovative design we can sometime increase the heat transfer coefficient also. Sometimes some other thing like by some sort of a good design in condensation, we can promote the drainage of condensate film, which is very important. Then as it is a passive device, so it will have the features of passive device. That means, it is highly reliable, low maintenance, all these things are there. uh, some of the common fins I have shown. So, let me let me try to explain certain things over here, and so this is the primary surface. Let us say this is the primary surface, this is the primary surface, and on this primary surface I have added some sort of a secondary surface or extended surface. So, this is our fin. So, the first one is a longitudinal fin. So, as I have earlier told that it is a conductive convective system. So, let us understand why I have told this. So, what now initially I had a surface area or surface like this I had a surface, I had a surface like this. So, this was my surface. So, this was my surface. Now, what is happening with this fin, my surface area is like this much surface area I have got, this much surface area I have got, this much surface area I have got, and at the back of the fin then again the same amount of surface area we have got. So, by providing a single fin, I can see how much extra surface area I could provide to my design. So, this is one of the design, but in industry there are many design where the heat transfer surface is curved. Let us say the fluid is flowing through the through a tube, and the fluid is to be cooled or heated by providing some sort of gas flow over the outside of the tube. So, here we can provide this kind of fins on the tube. These are called longitudinal fins on the tube. Okay. Similarly, for a tube we can provide this kind of radial fin. Similarly, for a planar surface we can provide this kind of cylinders, solid cylinders, which are also fins, and they are called pin fins. They look like a pin. So, they are like pin fins. Again I draw your attention that in case of planar fin, only one fin has been shown. In case of radial fin or annular fin, or sometimes it is called circular fin, in case of planar fin only one fin has been shown, that is your this one. In case of radial fin, which is also called circular fin or annular fin, only one fin has been shown. In case of pin fin, only one fin has been shown. But rarely any practical application a single fin is used. So, basically we used a fin surface as we have shown in this case, but in all the other cases for the clarity, for understanding, we have shown only one typical fin. In actual practice there will be many number of fins on the surface. So, with this let us move to our next this one. Next slide. Limitation of heat exchangers. First thing is cost. So, obviously, when we are attaching fins, so it will improve the cost. How it will improve the cost? Because the fin material has to be a good conductor of heat. So, obviously, we cannot use any material, we have to use some costly material, and then weight and volume of the heat exchanger, that will definitely increase. Most of the cases we will have an increase in pumping power, and then there could be fouling. Now, weight and volume, obviously it is not desirable in any system, increase in weight and volume, but particularly if it is a mobile system. Let us say for an aircraft we are trying to have a heat exchanger with fins, we have to be careful. For a racing car, for an automobile, we want to have automobile moving with a high velocity, we want to have a heat exchanger very efficient by putting number of fins, we have to be careful. because in all these cases this addition of fins not only increases the volume, but also increases the weight of the mobile system, moving system, and which is more traction power. So, we have to be careful. Dimensions of the fin in the longitudinal direction, that is in a direction normal to the primary surface or base surface, is much more compared to the other dimension. So, many of the cases in the analysis of fin we can take the assumption of one dimensional heat conduction. So, this is very important that many of the cases our fin analysis is done based on the assumption of one dimensional heat conduction. So, with this background, let us go proceed further. So, you see resources are not infinite, unfortunately, particularly engineering resources are not infinite. So, suppose I want to improve the performance of a heat exchanger. We are not satisfied. I am not satisfied with the performance of a particular heat exchanger. Then I have got limited resources. So, I should try to do it that I get the best return of my investment. So, first I have to decide that where I have to go for augmentation. What I am telling, please let me explain it. It is like this, that we know that in a heat exchanger there could be many heat transfer surfaces, but a typical heat transfer surface will have two fluids on either one fluid on either side. So, there will be a surface, on the surface there will be one fluid, or rather let me put it in this way, that two fluids are separated by some sort of a solid wall. So, one surface of the solid wall is contacted by one fluid and another surface of the solid wall is contacted by another fluid. Now, the augmentation or enhancement, particularly if we think of passive enhancement, we can provide on either side of the solid surface. We have to, at this point, we have to take a decision on which side we are going to provide the augmentation, or on both the side we are going to provide the augmentation. Now, if we have got limited resources, as I have told, then we have to decide at least that to start with which side should be our target for providing the augmentation. For this, what we have to do? We have to think of the thermal resistances in the path of fluid, in the path of flow of heat. Heat is getting transferred from one solid, moving fluid to the another moving fluid. There are several resistance. For fluid 1 there is a resistance. The fluid 1 side there could be some fouling, for that there is a resistance. In the solid wall there is a resistance. In fluid 2 side there could be fouling, there is a resistance, and in the fluid 2 there is a resistance. I think these have been already told. So, we can proceed. So, bringing in overall heat transfer coefficient, So, here the overall heat transfer coefficient and area I have brought in. So, we have got 5 resistances. The convective heat transfer on the fluid 1 side, this is 1. The fouling resistance on the fluid 1 side, I have put it in the form of convective heat transfer coefficient. The resistance in the solid wall, this is another. Then the fouling on the fluid 2 side, that is another, and then resistance in fluid 2, that is another. So, in general, most of the cases we will have this 5 resistance. Now, we can have some sort of a, because it is very difficult to separate them, that resistance in the convection in a particular fluid and just beside it is the resistance due to fouling in that particular fluid, we can club them together. Suppose the situation is such that for fluid one side, these two resistances, summation of these two resistances are much more compared to the summation of other resistances, then we can take a clear cut decision that the augmentation is to be done on the fluid one side. So, this is how we have to decide. There are some guidelines, very simple guidelines, because it comes from our day to day experience, and these guidelines are of course, more or less commonly followed, but sometimes it needs some sort of a checking. It is like this, that if there is a gas liquid heat exchanger, generally gas side resistances are more. So, if we are going, as we have discussed, that fin is one kind of a technique which we can adopt. So, if we are going to provide fins, so we have to provide first on the gas side. In many cases, on the liquid side we need not provide fin. Sometimes we provide small fins etcetera for enhancing the heat transfer, the rate of heat transfer or coefficient of heat transfer. But if it is gas liquid, that then almost in 100% cases the decision is taken to enhance the rate of heat transfer in the gas side by providing fins. Okay. If it is a gas to gas heat exchanger, then of course, many a times we provide fins on both side of the solid surface, on both the fluid side we provide fins. So, with this small kind of information, small piece of information, we can proceed for the next slide. We can proceed for the next slide. So, here I have shown a longitudinal fin with constant thickness. So, let me again try to show a few things. So, this is your primary surface, this is your primary surface. On the primary surface I have put some sort of a longitudinal fin. You can see that the cross section of this fin is constant, that means the thickness of the fin is constant. So, there are two areas which are important. One area we can think of, let us say we can think of this area . This is one area. So, what is happening? The base, the primary surface is hot. So, from there heat transfer is taking place, and for the heat transfer is taking place through this area. So, this is basically the cross sectional area which is taking part in your conduction. Okay. And let us clean the. So, then we can see one fluid is flowing over the fin, back side of the fin also fluid is flowing, over the base surface or primary surface also fluid is flowing. So, it is like this, that fluid is flowing on the on this surface fluid is flowing. So, let us use this So, on this surface fluid is flowing, here I have shown fluid is flowing, on this fluid is flowing. So, so fluid is flowing, and due to that there will be some sort of a convection. So, that is why I have told that fin is a conductive convective system, and the length of the fin, that is L, the thickness of the fin is x T. In this direction we have taken x, and T x is the temperature at a distance x. Now, we have to understand or appreciate one thing, that heat transfer is taking place. I have shown the area through which heat conduction is taking place. There is another area, that is the surface area of the fin, from there convection is taking place. So, conduction is taking place through the cross sectional area, convection is taking place through the surface area. That is one thing. Another thing, that if we assume that the fin is very large, the fin is very large along this direction and along this direction. So, one need not consider a temperature variation along this direction. I have told that this fin is very long in this direction compared to its thickness. So, along this direction there will be temperature variation, but along this direction there will not be any temperature variation. So, basically this direction no temperature variation, this direction no temperature variation, this direction no temperature variation, only temperature variation is along the longitudinal direction. So, this is what we do in fin, and this probably is known to you, known to all of you from your heat transfer course. Analysis of a convective fin. Convective fin means the heat transfer from the surface of the fin is taking place by convection based on 1D heat conduction. I will not spend much time, because these are all the stuff of heat transfer. I will not explain also, because I expect you people to go back to a heat transfer book if you cannot figure it out. This is some minimum requirement for this particular course. So, for the fin which I have shown, so one can write this kind of an equation. The first equation which has been written, it is assumed that the surface area changes along x direction or longitudinal direction, cross sectional area also changes. Now, if we take some sort of a longitudinal fin with constant thickness, we can get this. Then we replace T x minus T infinity, which is the fluid temperature, by some theta, we get this kind of a formulation, and then if we impose the boundary condition, common boundary condition is that at the fin base, where the fin is attached to the primary surface, it is having a known temperature, and on the tip, that is the other end of the fin, that is insulated. With this boundary condition, we can get a temperature temperature distribution along the length of the fin, and flow of heat through the fin, which is coming from the base. So, at the base, what is the heat flow? That is the again heat transfer by the fin to the surrounding fluid. So, that will be Q f. Okay. With this, if we go for the next slide, so we have got the heat transfer and we have got the temperature distribution. If you recall, you will find that probably the most common type of fin we have taken, which is a longitudinal fin, either it could be of rectangular cross section, or it could be some sort of a pin fin. So, everywhere our cross section is constant. So, even then we are getting a very complex equation, or rather complex equation, not very complex, but complex equation. But if the fin geometry is more complex, all these simplicities are not there, we can imagine that the equation will not be very easy to remember or easy to handle. That is one point. Another point, how do I know that whether the fin I have designed that is good or that is not so good? So, here we introduce some figure of merit, which will give us the, the goodness of my fin design, and at the same time we will explain that it will make my life simple, that when I have to estimate how much heat transfer is there from the fin. So, it is like this. If we go back to the slide PPT. So, we define fin effectiveness, again these are all stuff of heat transfer, and then what we do, we get it like this, that effectiveness is heat transfer from the fin, heat transfer through the fin base without the fin. So, this is how we get, or in terms of thermal resistance we can get. So, this is one way of doing it. There is another figure of merit, that is fin efficiency, that is heat transfer through the fin and maximum possible heat transfer through the fin. How we can get maximum possible heat transfer? If we assume that fin is made of a material which is some sort of a highly conductive material, there is no temperature drop across the fin. So, we get that, and then this is a very important kind of information, and we get the fin efficiency eta f, which is given by 10 H ml by ml, 10 hyperbolic ml by ml. I am not going back, but there is m which has been defined while I have shown the previous slide. It is some sort of a design parameter, thermogeometric parameter of the fin, which is very important for the fin design, and L is the length of the fin. Okay. So, with this we get the efficiency of the fin. So, we can tell by adding the fin how much is the gain, we can define compare between two fin design. But at the same time, once we know the fin efficiency, what we can do, the fin area can be multiplied with this fin efficiency. So, from the name efficiency, it will be clear that what we are getting is less than 100%. So, the fin area will be multiplied by this. That means, the entire area of fin, or rather let me put it like this, the fin area is not as efficient as transferring as efficient in transferring heat as the base area. If we multiply it with some sort of a factor which is less than 100% or less than 1, then the area which we are getting, that is equally efficient as the base area. Base area heat transfer, how can we get? H A delta T. We do not have any fin equation, etc. Here somehow somebody is supplying me with the fin efficiency. The fin area I will multiply with the efficiency, and then we will have our H A fin into efficiency into delta T, that will be the heat transfer. So, this is the advantage of introducing efficiency. I have just explained it in nutshell, knowing that this has been done in your, or this you have done this you have done in your earlier class. So, well, let me get it cleared. So, here I have shown how the fin efficiency will vary with some sort of a geometrical and thermogeometrical parameter for different kind of fins. Only longitudinal fin analysis I have shown, but other fin can be analyzed. Here only one thing is there, instead of L, the length of the fin, the some sort of LC has been used. LC is the corrected length for the assumption of the insulated tip. What we have assumed, the tip is insulated, but the tip is not actually insulated. So, there will be certain amount of heat transfer. So, actual length of the fin can be corrected with some sort of a correction. So, which is given here, and that is what is used in many of the many of the analysis. So, circular fin. So, here also we will get the expression of theta, which is the non-dimensional temperature, in terms of modified Bessel function of 0 order and first order. Then efficiency we also get, but you can see the how the efficiency formula has become complex. That is what I was going to tell, that sometimes the fin analysis is very complex. For a circular fin, which I have shown earlier, so the analysis becomes very complex, and then in this case the efficiency generally we determine with the help of a chart or with the help of a graph like this, and here I have shown how it can be, one can use this. Okay. So, these two fins, what I have shown, that the longitudinal fin on a plane surface or circular fin over a tube surface are very important, and they will be very commonly used, very extensively used in our heat exchanger design. So, some of these things we will discuss, some of these things we will use in our further classes. So, this provides some sort of a base knowledge for you, and why I have included, I could have told only that these are used in our heat exchanger design, because this is a heat transfer stuff, it is not connected directly or not to be included mandatorily in a course on heat exchanger, but we have given this for its importance in the course. Now, the last one I like to tell, that on a surface there will be number of fins. So, as we have defined fin efficiency, there could be surface efficiency also. There could be surface efficiency, and the surface efficiency is sometimes called the overall surface efficiency, is given like this. Why overall surface efficiency? Because in a fin surface, from the fin heat transfer is there, and also where fin is not there, heat transfer is there from the base surface or primary surface. So, following the analysis which I have given, which is very simple, one can define the overall surface efficiency by this formula, and here actually you need to know what is the number of fins, the capital N, the fin area per fin, how much is the area. You need to know the fin efficiency, and you need to know the total area. So, with that we can have some sort of a surface efficiency. So, in a heat exchanger, as we are not using a single fin, we need to have the basic information of fin efficiency, but from there we need to calculate the surface efficiency, which we need to use in the finned heat exchanger design. With this, I like to end my lecture, and I thank you all for attending this. If there is any queries or confusion, we can discuss that if you indicate it in the forum. But what I like to tell, that knowing the basic heat transfer or recalling the basic heat transfer, connecting it with what we are teaching is very important, and I like you to do that. Thank you.